In today's video, I want to give you the perspective of a recruiter, and I'm going to share with you some really unfortunate things that happen in the interviewing and hiring process. Let's go. Now, the first reality you are going to have to deal with as a candidate is that you are going to apply to a lot of roles that you will just never hear back from. Now, this can happen for a variety of reasons. So maybe you applied to a role too late in the process. They've already moved forward with other candidates. Maybe the applicant tracking system looks at your resume, doesn't see the fit, and decides to kick you out or give you a low match score, so the recruiter never even looks at you. And sometimes the recruiter will even look at your resume and not understand how good of a fit you are and pass on you. Either way, that is an absolute truth you're going to have to deal with as a candidate in the interview process. The next harsh truth about being a candidate and going through a hiring process is sometimes you will be what they call the third place candidate. So you are the candidate who they really like candidate A. They want to hire this person in all likelihood. They've got B, a backup candidate, so almost as good as that first one. If we don't go with the first one, there's B. And then there's 3, the third place candidate. And this person is there sometimes just for comparison's sake. So they think they're probably gonna hire candidate A. If they don't hire that one, B they might go with. But C is there not because they necessarily expect to hire this person. Maybe they are hireable, but a lot of times they just want a third person so they can have the perfect amount of candidates to go to a final interview, which is 3 people. 3 people to go to an on-site, get a few different perspectives, a few different options. Ultimately, they go with option 1 or 2, but they want to have a full interview grouping or a full grouping of candidates, and they move you forward. So an unfortunate and harsh truth about recruiting is sometimes you might be candidate 3 and you might get moved forward and you have a very slim shot of actually getting hired. The next harsh truth about recruiting is that oftentimes hiring managers are going to hire people they connect with over candidates who are more qualified. Anybody who has gone through bias training knows this happens. It's incredibly unfortunate. Most people, when they think about hiring, they go, okay, well, the most qualified, best candidate should get hired. And sometimes that happens, but plenty of times, hiring managers, they go into it and they see a bunch of qualified people and they really connect with someone. Maybe they went to the same school, maybe they have some of the same interests, or they see themselves in that candidate. And what do they end up doing? They end up choosing that candidate, and sometimes it's over a candidate who is more qualified. One of the really unfortunate, harsh truths about recruiting is that many companies out there see a candidate, and regardless of what that person has been paid in the past, they want to pay them fair market value. That is great. Here's a gold star for you, company. But a lot of companies, they don't do that. A lot of companies, they go, what was this person making? We can get them for a deal. They were making blank, we give them a little bit more. It's still less than we could pay for the role, but we are getting a great value. This is something that is incredibly challenging to navigate as a candidate. As a candidate, you're like, I don't want to put my number too high, but I want to maximize the opportunity to make more money. So you say something and they end up taking you at your word and giving you a salary that is less aggressive than they could have. Maybe it's not even at their mean point. They're the middle of the salary range. They could offer it to you here, but instead, because you said you're here, they offer you here instead of here. That happens. One of the unfortunate and harsh truths about recruiting is it's always going to take longer than you want. I made a video called Why Does the Interview Process Take So Long? And most people agreed. There was a few people who said, I've been hired really quickly. Great, that is awesome for you. I wish everybody had that kind of good fortune. The reality is that most of the time, things take longer than we want. There's delay in the offer, there's red tape, there's secondary candidates, somebody has second thoughts, maybe the positional needs change, etc. But one of the harsh truths that I've noticed in 13 years of recruiting is that although we'd like the process to go quickly, smoothly, and efficiently, it does not always go that way. Harsh truth about recruiting. A lot of people get really excited when they get a new job. You got a new job, you're moving into a new role, maybe you're making more money, maybe you're doing more of what you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis. That is great. What is not great is that sometimes when you get hired at a company and they go through some sort of financial difficulty, being a recently hired employee actually puts you at a disadvantage. It's called last in, first out. So they hired you recently, you don't have the kind of historical knowledge or experience or training, and because all of a sudden they have gone through these financial difficulties that were not anticipated, you are first on the cutting block. That is another really harsh truth about hiring and interviewing. Is your mind blown? Are some of these things new to you? Did you not expect them? Well, if that is the case, you need to watch this video. This video is the sequel, and it is the next video. These are more harsh truths about recruiting and the realities of being a candidate. Look, being a candidate is hard, but I always think it's better to have more information than less, so go watch this video now.